Going on, guys? This is the Fullstack Bro coming at you with another video today. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the major regrets I have as a software developer. Now, in life, I don't really have that many regrets. Whatever happens to me, either good or bad, I'm learning from it. Now, in my career, of course, I could have went a different path. There's a lot of bumps in the road. There's a lot of ups and downs, and just trying to get through and trying to understand how to become a software engineer or a web developer and just try to get out there in the tech space, right? But over the course of my career, there are a lot of things that I did learn and the things that I should focus on, and a lot of stuff that I really should have taken into account as I started to progress in my career, which kind of held me back in a way. From getting new opportunities to getting a better salary. A lot of those things I had to learn while I was going into different positions, okay? And just trying to understand exactly what I wanted to do, because I was in that purgatory state where, okay, I wanted to learn how to become a web designer, so I did that, right? What's the next step from there? It's a web developer. Okay, I had to learn that. And then understanding the key languages and tools that I needed to get to this point. And then after that, becoming a software engineer, full stack developer, and so on and so forth. But over the course of my career, I've taken on a bunch of positions and I've made a lot of progress. And that's good in itself, but there were a couple of things that I've regretted that I should have taken seriously and could have taken me into a different stratosphere in my career. So number one of the regrets that I do have is being incompetent. Being incompetent with whatever project that I needed to work on. If the requirements are there, everything is laid out, I just wrote the code out and got it done. This will hurt you in the long run. I realized as I was writing, working on projects and trying to get things done, a lot of what I wrote actually wasn't good code, and it caused a lot of issues in the long run, okay? What I needed to do and what I should have done was, if there's a project that I could not get done, say for example, there's a project that probably would have taken me 3 hours to complete, right? Or they allotted 3 hours for a dev to complete, and it took me more than 6 hours to do it. I should have asked for help if I didn't know how to solve a problem to a developer that knew more than me, because this would have saved me a lot of time Googling things, trying to figure things out on my own, and getting into that mindset that I have to just figure things out all on my own without any help from other developers. So if you are a up-and-coming software engineer and you want to get to the next level, you have to be a team player. You have to reach out to people that know more than you to solve a particular problem. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Now, I had imposter syndrome where I thought that a lot of people were better than me, so I had to prove myself. And that hurts in your progress, because a lot of things that you want to learn and grow from, like if you want to write better code, if you want to be able to create better workflows, a lot of that stuff, yes, you're going to have to do the research and go on Google, try to find different things. You could use AI now, which will give you the answer, but it's not a definitive thing. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you can't put all that pressure on yourself. You have to reach out to people that know more than you. That's why you're on a team for a reason, right? The end goal is to get things done and get things done more effectively, so that any project that you're working on next, you don't have to go back to the previous project and keep reiterating new changes to make sure that that project is successful. The second thing that I regret is being a one-man army. Now, the last position that I had so many different positions at the last company I worked for. So I started as a web developer there, and I was managing their websites. So they had 3 major websites that were corporate, and I was working with the marketing team on design, requirements, being in those meetings, trying to understand exactly what we needed to build, and just executing based off of the layout that they provided me, build that into the website, right? And we would do weekly releases for different pages that needed to get rolled out for promoting a new product, a feature, whatever, just to capture leads from the website. I was the only sole web developer on this team. I didn't work with other developers that could have helped me with this to triage some of that work. Everything fell on my shoulders. A lot of those things, you know, just took away from the time that I had to do other stuff to become better. So learning new things, always being on call was another thing. So that was a major thing. And I should have spoken up about it, and I didn't. But being a one-man army to where you're building things and you're just working on every single detail of something is not good in itself if you're not working with a team that has the same experience. If you're working on your own company, then yeah, you're gonna start doing everything on your own, and then you're gonna, as you start to progress and get the company to a point where you're actually getting revenue or getting investments on the company and what you're doing and what problem you're trying to solve, then you could delegate a lot of that work to other people that have that experience. Then as a software engineer, just thinking that I knew everything and being overconfident with my skills hurt me in the long run. And then also not communicating with a lot of team members. Like I did have conversations with them and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I didn't really, you know, spend time understanding the system, understanding exactly what we were trying to build across all of our products, having that clear view so that it would make it easier for me as a developer for whatever tickets that I needed to work on, be able to work through them efficiently and actually break them down into smaller pieces. This was a missing piece into why I was at like a stagnant level when it came to software development. It's not all about coding at the end of the day. You have to work on your communication skills, guys. That is very important. If you want to level up, communication is key. You could be the best coder out there. You could write workflows, functions, all that stuff to get things done. But if you can't articulate exactly how you're building things and what problems it's trying to solve and what route you went, and explaining it from not only an engineering level, but also to a regular Joe that doesn't know anything about technology, you're gonna fail. The third thing is the grass is sometimes not greener. What I mean by that is, if you're working for a good company, stay there. Stay there as long as possible. If the company has a good culture, the people there are good, they're teaching you new things, you're having a lot of fun, it's not all about work at the end of the day, this is a great company to work for. If they value you as a person, not just as like an employee, that is a great company to work for. My previous company and the company that I'm working for now are great companies. The reason why I left my previous company was because it was time to go. The leadership team got pushed out because it got acquired, and the writing was on the wall. I had to go. I had to level up. I had to like do something. I had to get out of my comfort zone. I felt like I was too comfortable where I was, and I didn't see myself growing to the level that I am now. I had to make that change. I had to do it. And you're gonna know when you need to make that change. It's easy. Like if you're not learning anything new and you start to see things are becoming more stale and you're not really building something of value, then it's time to go. And jumping from job to job just to get a better salary, if you wanna go that route, fine, but you're gonna miss out on working for a good company that is gonna value you as a person and not as an employee. Do not move from the company that you're at. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna move from company to company and you're gonna not create relationships with your coworkers and you're gonna hate what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Always stick with the good company, guys. Never look for something else. You can always work through it, negotiate. The fourth thing that I regret is not focusing on myself, meaning like I wasn't taking the time after work to learn new things. I wasn't taking the time to learn a new language, understand, like build out projects, actually finishing those projects, because I was more focused on the job itself. And I thought working harder would give me more success. Working hard gets you to a certain point, but then it comes a time where you need to really look into better ways to be more productive and write less code, in a sense. Good coders write less code because they understand workflows. They understand automation. So if you're able to understand a problem to its core and break it down into smaller pieces to where you're able to actually understand from a business use case what you're building and how to make it better is going to save you a lot of time with dealing with tech debt in the end and have to go back and refactor and change all these things. Focus on learning new things as much as possible. Don't let your 9 to 5 deter you from that. Set up a time block for when you want to learn something new. If you want to work on a project, set a time block for like an hour or two, right? And make as much progress as you want on that project and then move on. And just do this every single day until that project is complete. And then the last thing is being afraid of taking chances, being afraid of taking on opportunities when presented. When I wanted to transition into being from a web developer to a software engineer, I decided to go the unconventional route and become a QA engineer and then also a web developer at the same time. I was doing both. I wouldn't recommend that. If you have the opportunity to jump from web developer to software engineer, take that route, okay? Just understand exactly what you're gonna be learning and what you're gonna be doing. Any opportunities that come up, like say for example, if there's like a side project or a side gig that someone offers to you, take it. Don't say, oh, nah, I'm just gonna focus on my 9 to 5. Bro, if there is an opportunity to make money and it won't affect your 9 to 5, take that opportunity. There's so many times where I was offered to work on a side project and help get a website running because I had, already had experience doing websites. So someone would reach out and be like, hey, can you get this website up and running for me? And I'll be like, you know what? Nah, I'm just gonna focus on my 9 to 5. I think it will conflict and all that stuff. Now, if I get an opportunity to work on a side project and it doesn't conflict with what I'm doing day to day, I'm gonna take that opportunity. If you need a website, if you need a web app, if you need a mentor, I want to provide value at this point. There's so many different opportunities that you have out there, even though the job market right now is crazy because of AI taking over and people overinflating the resumes with garbage nonsense that doesn't translate with their experience. And a lot of people are not getting jobs because of it. Don't be afraid to take chances. Don't be afraid to learn something new. Be adventurous in this. You can't just sit there and be in a bubble and think that the opportunities are just going to land on your lap. You have to go out there and reach for those opportunities. And say, for example, if there's a language that you're really high on, learn that language as much as you can and make sure that there's actually a job opportunity for it and just apply. Get out there, do freelancing. If you can't get a regular job, try to find ways to make it in this industry because it's way harder now than it was a couple years ago. So that's it, guys. That's the video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what your regrets are and what kind of steps are you taking to get better from that? Or have you gotten better from that? Okay, so we'll talk soon.